Boom. All right, folks, you remember this building, right? The New Haven Depot. Right? You remember it. Finally getting the finishing it up. I'm going to start doing the chipping part of it. So I got everything pretty much glued on. I started doing the chipping. Sorry. Uh, Pretty straightforward. Remember, base coat, chipping fluid, top coat, whatever you choose. Chipping fluid is between the two of them. Okay? In my case, I brushed everything. I brushed my bottom coat, my base coat, I brushed the chipping fluid, and I brushed my top coat. I just put a little little airbrush flow improver in. It's a Vallejo product. I like, when you're when you're using products, I know it's it's hard to swallow the prices on some of these things. Like the Vallejo airbrush thinner, right? Hard to swallow that. It's 14.25. It's a lot of money for this little bit of fluid. What's in here? It's proprietary to this product, and I'm sure that if you put something else that you make into it, it will probably work. But I know that the Vallejo will work. Okay, I know that if I put some airbrush thinner into a Vallejo product, some Vallejo airbrush thinner into a Vallejo paint, I know I'm not going to have no problems with it, right? The last thing you want to do is start doing projects and mixing things, somebody's thinner with somebody else's paint, and blah blah blah. Unless it's something like Tamiya and you're mixing alcohol with it. I mean, you can even put alcohol in there, right? That's kind of like a neutral thing, I think, alcohol. But I like to stick with the products, the same products. To chipping. So uh, all you're doing is I have a little stiff brush that I cut down to make really stiff. Get some water, and you could do the brush method, or you could do a toothpick. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Uh, and I'm thinking of, yeah, chipping can happen anywhere, and uh, I'm thinking that, the rain hitting the ground, splashing up against the building, wear parts where things might rub up against the building. Trucks, people, equipment, uh, that's where some chipping's going to happen, right? So in this case, I did two coats of the blue. So maybe you might not do two coats. I don't remember why I did two coats. But it takes a little more effort to chip off. But you can see right there, it's starting to come off. And that's it, basically. It's just rubbing and rubbing and rubbing. You can use toothpicks, wooden toothpicks. I don't have any wooden toothpicks. Even though you always see me with a plastic one, but I don't have any wooden ones. I got to pick some up. But, and I don't want to take a lot off. So that's it. You see it popping through. It works good. I mean, again, some people will put the chipping fluid in spots. Well, it's hard to remember, especially if you're like weeks and months between projects and all that work, and you know, it's so it's just easier to coat the entire surface and then chip away where you want to chip away. And that's basically it. Would I use it again? Yes. It's easy to use. It's easy to put on, and you see it's easy to take off. And that's it, right? This is the backside. I learned a lot with this building. Um, the roofing, the peel and stick stuff sounds good in theory, but for whatever reason, I guess climate in your space. I mean, in my house, climates change, the moisture changes. It doesn't stick, especially on the ends. I had it peeling off. It would just peel back a little bit. So I just put some glue in there. All these little fiddly parts, very fiddly. You see, like here, I gotta glue that back in, right? Lining them up, very fiddly, these things. All these little parts, underside here, these little parts, all these fiddly things. One of the things with the roof is because of the material of the roof, it really doesn't have, once you put it together, the integrity of it in the sense that it stays into a form, uh, an exact form, is not the case because it doesn't. They tell you to put the roof together as one piece, right? And it's off the building because you got all this other stuff to do to it, right? And I'm just following the directions step by step by step. So in this case, you can see these little pieces here, all these little pieces, these edge, I don't know what you would call them. Um, um, they're a set length and they kind of lock into the sides of the building, right? And you have to bend the roof. You have to like put some pressure on the outside of the roof to kind of get the roof to seat properly. And that's a little pain. But overall, I like it. It came out nice. It's a lot of fiddling. Remember the windows? I use Tichy windows. I like the Tichy windows. They're not exactly right to the building, but that's okay. I like them. They're easy to fit in. Tichy does great stuff. I didn't do any chipping fluid on the ends because I wasn't sure if I was really going to chip it. And, I didn't want to spend time if it wasn't something that I kind of liked. But I like how it's coming. It looks good, and I'm not going to do a lot of chipping to it. I'm just not. And learned a lot from the roof, right? The bad side of the roof and the right side of the roof. This will be the side that you see either on my layout or maybe your layout. I don't know what I'm going to do with this building. I really doesn't fit in anything that I'm doing. I just wanted to build it, and I may give it away. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something from this little series of builds for this particular building and other things in general, right? If you don't like the windows in your kit, change them out. Just take some measurements and see if Tichy makes something and go with that. You don't like the way something is in the kit, change it. It's okay. No big deal. There's some things that I left off because I just didn't want to fiddle with them, especially a lot of the peel and stick stuff. Not into that peel and stick stuff. Anyway, be well, be blessed. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel because it's not just rail fanning. Now that my layout is underway and I have layout construction, a lot going on there, a lot coming up, and building kits. I'll be doing some scratch building because most of the buildings on my layout, I say, 99.9% of them will be scratch built, just because of the oddness of my layout. Anyway, be well, be blessed. See you somewhere.